Hello,
organized
everyone, and welcome back to Glorious Reacts. Before we begin, I would love to introduce ourselves. I am your friend from down under, Arnold, and I am joined by the guys again. We have the Thrilla from Manila, Joel. Say hi, Joel.
Hey guys.
And our very
notes. Ang
own
lalim ng voice.
Black Widow, care of his mic.
Pwede ko gawin yan. Ako din.
Our Singapore Sling, Paul.
Oh.
Hello. Say hello, Paul.
Hello guys.
Ganun ba yun, Joel? Is that how you do it?
Hello guys.
I don't know. I don't
Oh
know
my
with you.
gosh. Wait, hang on. Let's focus. After a year-long delay, we finally get to see Black Widow movie. So let's focus on that. And not how deep our voices are. In this episode, we talk about our initial reactions to the latest MCU film. As usual, we will go through what we liked and disliked about what we saw, but we will be avoiding revealing any content that has not already been revealed in the various trailers and teasers.
So for the first time, spoiler
For the first
free.
time, yes, this is a spoiler-free episode. So,
Ooh.
let's go right into it. So we'll avoid the recap, obviously. We'll have that sort of for the next episode.
I can do a recap.
That's all right. That's fine. Let's dive right into our likes, and I would love for Paul to kick us off.
For the likes? Oh, okay, sure.
I guess we can start off with saying if we actually like the film.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I like the film. I like the film. What I like about what I especially like about the film is that it just focuses on Natasha, the character, Black Widow, and that's all. No one else is involved. No other cameo, no big reveal, no help from anyone, and it's very refreshing to see a more focused movie of just Black Widow, and especially because she doesn't really have like a strong superpower.
She has no
She doesn't have a
superpower at all.
superpower at all.
She's just a normal person.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, okay, but
She's very
I
skilled.
mean, I can't do half the things she does, right?
Ah,
Or
okay.
even
Yeah.
like 75% of the things she does because she's a trained assassin. But yes, having no superpowers and relying only on herself and the other people in the movie, and that's very refreshing. Also, we get introductions to new characters that may or may not spin off because we don't know what's gonna happen in the future, but they're very interesting characters, and I like that. It shows a different aspect of the MCU, of the world of the MCU, and it's not just all because what was introduced was like America, then Wakanda, and then galaxies.
That's true. That's true.
So there wasn't
Somewhere
any
else,
diversity in terms of like what happens to the other countries, because we have to all remember MCU happens on Earth. It's not
The universe actually, because of Guardians of the Galaxy. It's
yeah,
everything.
but Earth actually is as is. It doesn't have like a Gotham City. Like if we compare it to DC,
He's saying that. Yeah.
DC has made up cities because they have like the Gotham City, they have Metropolis,
Yeah, all
they
of the
have
main cities are
Central City, right? They're all made up. But here we're focused on like the Battle of New York. I mean, I guess Sokovia's made up. Was Sokovia made up?
Sokovia is
Yes,
made up.
Sokovia was
So is
Okay,
Wakanda.
so that's made up. But
So is Wakanda, yeah.
So,
well, we all know Wakanda's made up.
or
But
is
the
it?
focus is Earth, and we don't see anything else from other like regions. And I like that this one has.
That's true. Yeah, we actually it's a globe well, it's mostly in Europe, but it's true.
Budapest.
It's the most. I guess apart from Spider-Man: Far From Home, this is the most we've gotten that is outside of the
Outside, yep.
outside of either Wakanda or the
Or the
US of
galaxy.
A or Galaxy. Yeah, that's true.
Or the
That is-
galaxy.
Joel.
Yeah. Well, for me, I one of the things that I liked about it was, well, first of all, I did enjoy the film. I did enjoy the movie. I think that it was It was something else because we've still gotten a lot of MCU content the past couple of months, but having one film come out, it was really refreshing to have that and have a contained story told in those 2 hours. It was it was different. It was a different experience. Uh, One thing that I really liked about the movie was the theme. I know that off the bat, a lot of people are talking about the theme of family. I actually, and it was surprising for me to see the other kind of theme that was discussed throughout the film. And so I even got some friends even told me that there were parallelisms with actual events or actual things that happened in the real world and the way that they discussed those themes
Right.
in the movie, right? And yeah, so that, and then I've this is the first movie that I've seen of Florence Pugh. I know that she's a very talented actress. She's being hailed as one of the up and coming actresses in Hollywood, but seeing her performance here, it was really good.
Right.
Yeah, and the way that she played off of Scarlett Johansson, their chemistry and their banter, I really loved it. I really loved their banter. It was like really watching. I mean, you could feel that they felt as if they were really family.
Mm.
They were really sisters. It was like a
Sisters.
younger sister, older sister
And
thing.
the bickering was amazing.
Yeah, I love the bickering. The whole "you're such a mom."
Yes.
All of those things. It really came out, and it helped the other prevailing theme of family for me. Yeah. So those are the things that I liked about the film.
Um, uh, Same things. I really enjoyed the film. I thought it was a fun movie. It had a good story in it. Based, it was obviously severely limited by. I guess severely is a not a good word, but it's limited by what we already know of what happens to the Black Widow character after this movie. So this movie, we pointed out already in the previous episode, occurs right after Civil War and right before
Infinity War.
So, and then obviously after that, we know what happens to the Black Widow character. And this one fills in the gap wherein she was on the run, and right before we see her show up saving Vision and
I don't
Right?
think
Was
that's
that it?
right.
But was
No,
that the
no,
first
no.
time we
I
see
think
her?
it's this was. I think this happens because that was when all the bad guys from Infinity War arrive, right? So I think this happens. They get the Quinjet, then they start rescuing the guys in the raft.
that's
Actually,
it
this
actually-
the timeline for this is within Civil War.
It's within Civil War, yeah. So the end credit scene,
after
so
the
the
end
post
credits-
credit, yeah.
After yeah,
right. I forgot about the post credit scene.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Okay, so it links up to that one. Excellent. Okay, cool. Cool, cool. I just obviously got the first thing that I remember when the so this movie does have a mid-credit scene. Sorry, no. It's no longer a post-credit scene. It's a credit scene. It's right after the movie. I guess it's just any other scene now. Wherein obviously you already see her with her getup and her hair has changed.
Mhm.
And so that was the first thing that actually just flashed into my mind is that hey, okay, we see her in that look in Infinity War at that stage in the movie. But you're right, there was a post-credit scene in Infinity War. So I really enjoyed how it told that filled in the gap, found out what happened. It's very interesting what happened there. Same thing with you guys. Really enjoyed the new characters that was introduced.
Yeah.
So we finally get to understand or get to see the whole family that she had prior to the Avengers, and the relationships that they showed was actually quite good. I really like how they made that family setting very obvious, despite everything, despite the flashy action that was happening. The entire theme of family was prevalent. It wasn't taking a pause in between, because like what Joel pointed out, the banter between the sisters occurred even while in the midst of the flashy action scenes. I have to just point out that I love Alexi's dad moments. He was such a dad. And that was like, okay, cool. I can totally see myself having to having all of these awkward conversations. And they made sure it was there. And I really enjoyed that one. It's similar to what Paul pointed out. I like the prospects of what this would mean for the future stories of MCU. We do get to have a very good idea of one particular story, which we will probably dive into next episode. And then there was the rest of the movie, so I might as well let us go through. Let us now go to our dislikes. Let's now go to our dislikes. Paul, I guess there's a pretty common theme across all three.
It's
of
a Marvel
us.
movie, so we already know what the one bad thing would be, right? It's a Marvel movie. Obviously, the villain sucks. The
but-
villain's gonna suck.
Is that the
But
prevailing?
you'd have to say, but they had been making progress.
They do. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, of giving us villains who were more than one dimensional.
Yeah,
Right?
The trouble
It's
with
just
that
that-
statement, I agree with what Joel's
Yeah.
saying,
but it's not in the MCU.
it's
No,
the-
it's in the MCU.
Oh, sorry, it's in the MCU, but it's not in a major movie.
No, all of them.
What
the
he's
recent
talking about
ones.
is, for example, some people like
Killmonger.
Thanos, but and Killmonger is actually fairly good.
He's
Oh,
multidimensional.
Yes. Okay, I agree with Killmonger, but I
Yeah.
but no one else
Even
is there.
Thanos. Even Thanos,
Thanos
was
is a bit
multidimensional
tricky
for me.
because obviously he's been around for several movies, so he's been
Yeah.
built up.
Yeah,
Because he
yeah.
was able to develop, right?
Loki's actually one villain.
But then he's an anti-hero, so
that
I don't
obviously
consider
became
him a villain.
Yes.
My point is, if you see at how good Zemo is with just the Falcon and the Winter Soldier
No, but
versus
even
the
in
one
Civil
shot.
War,
I
even in
agree
Civil War,
about-
I already sympathized with him in Civil War.
I
but I
sympathize
agree
with Zemo only after I've seen him
in Falcon and the Winter Soldier. But
Really?
because if
I
you
rewatched-
have
but then that's the only time actually.
if you are able to let the character breathe a bit, be able to for people to understand the way he's feeling and why he's doing the things he's doing, then you get a compelling story, compelling villain. The problem is, like Ronan, there's no room. There was no room. It wasn't going to be Ronan for Guardians 1 and 2, right? They're gonna go.
Yeah.
They shift. They just quickly went through like two
Yeah.
villains. So yeah, I mean, I understand why there's no development and why it's hard to relate. But yeah, I mean, still the trend is the villain is not so good. I mean, the development of the villain is not so good. So that's one of the bad things I really dislike about the film, which is to say. I mean, if it's the only thing you point out, then the movie's pretty much good because that's been what's been happening.
It's satisfactory as a
Dislike.
what do you call this? As a movie, I guess, because
Yeah.
you have a good guy and you have a bad guy,
Bad guy.
and the bad guy gets defeated.
As with essentially as a vehicle for moving the plot forward, the villain, well, Taskmaster, does what it's supposed to do.
Well, you have two villains, right?
That's
I
true.
mean, both of them suck.
I think that Paul was referring more to
The main one.
the
yeah.
main one.
Okay, that's true. Okay.
I mean,
Yeah.
So,
We brought.
I mean, we can talk about Taskmaster, but I'm gonna save my comments for the next episode because when the things I'm gonna have to comment, they're gonna be not spoiler free. So
sure.
I'm gonna reserve my comments on the next episode. But I mean, first the villain, which we already know. It's more than he was okay. I mean that the villain was okay, but still not as developed as Zemo or Killmonger. I think that's the most dislike I have. The rest of the movie was fun for me. The only one thing that I wanna nitpick is I felt that if they showed the scene where the family broke off, and they showed the scene where the family got together. If the amount of years in between that, I mean, the whole scene, them sitting in the eating, like trying to have lunch together,
Yeah.
it doesn't seem
It
real.
wasn't powerful.
It was too it was too fast for me. Like, how can they? I mean, because
Exactly.
they left, they departed ways, then they came back together.
Yes,
And just
especially
one
with the
mealtime
with how
scene.
especially with how
With
they
how-
parted ways.
Yes, exactly. And then with one
It was so
scene like
weird.
that, it was like
Yes.
done.
It felt very
Yes.
artificial in that regard.
That's actually why I also put it down as my dislike. The pace of the film was a little. It seemed as if they tried to pack in a lot of things, and they tried to move the story forward so quickly that the whole logic of them coming together after 21 years or
Yeah.
whatever of not being together, and especially with the way that they got separated. How that came back was, huh? How would that happen?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. And other than that, other things were also like the pace of it was also a little off for me. It was, I think that they were the movie suffered from an inability to. Paul mentioned it a while ago, but they're referring to villains, but they didn't allow us they didn't allow the story to breathe. Because they wanted to move. Okay, this plot point B. We need to get to plot point B, and then after plot point B, plot point C has to happen.
Has to happen. Yeah. And then obviously
Yeah,
they have
so-
to pack in the very flashy action sequences.
Action
in between.
sequences.
Action sequences, most of which we already saw in the trailers,
Yeah,
like what we had mentioned.
Joel was right.
Yeah,
Joel, when you just cut off the trailers, you probably have the whole movie already.
Pretty much,
Yep.
yeah. There were
Yeah.
still a little. There's still a few surprises, which you kind of see coming. We kind of see already coming, and there were a few surprises I was expecting to show up that didn't. So you definitely the pace needed to a bit more massaging, I guess, because I guess Joel was probably right. They wrote this down saying that, okay, we have plot A, plot B, and plot C, and then we have this flashy action sequence that we need to make it fit, and that's obviously the bread and butter of the show, of the movie. So they were left with however number of hours, 2 hours or so, of the movie left to put in the heart of the story, which unfortunately didn't come out the way that I think we were all expecting. We were seeing breadcrumbs of it. We were seeing bits and pieces of it. Some of the heart that we were hoping, that family theme we were hoping, did shine through with how the sisters reacted, how Natasha and Yelena, their coming together felt a little bit more organic,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Yeah. So that was
Because
that was so much
Elena was introduced so much earlier than the other two.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Alexi's return felt the least powerful. At the very least, when they met Melina again, Rachel Weisz really has this way of looking, and when that scene came up, I was very conflicted because I was trying to read Melina's reaction, and she had
You weren't sure.
I wasn't certain
You-
exactly.
yeah.
I wasn't certain of which reaction she really had, but she had this look, right? She had this look when she finally saw them again, particularly the girls. She had this look, and I was like, all right, that felt a little bit more that felt a little bit more organic as well. That was a more organic reaction. Alexi's unfortunately wasn't. Regardless, it was still a fun.
Yeah,
guy
it was.
to have around.
It was a fun character.
It was a fun character to have around. So I lament how some of the characters were poorly utilized,
Mhm.
poorly developed and poorly utilized. Sometimes a combination of both. And I guess I had more notes obviously on the why the main theme felt off for me, but I'm gonna hold that off for when we do our deep dive. The last bit, I guess, in terms of dislikes that I wanted to point out, and this may be just a little bit of it's not as big of a dislike, but it'll probably be a problem to some people, especially for those who'd never watched who never bothered with the TV show. But there will be a part in the movie that will the TV shows that will need a bit more explaining, I guess.
But the thing is, originally this movie was actually supposed to come out before.
Yeah.
That's true. So at the very least, everybody should have been, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
and then
All
it would get
Yeah.
fleshed out by the
So
TV
even if
shows.
you didn't
Right.
watch it, I think
Yes, you're
that
right.
just the introduction. I mean, just seeing that wouldn't destroy it. Wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, it wouldn't. It would still be a question mark because that was the purpose of that scene anyway.
That's true.
Yeah.
That's true. That's true. Is there anything else that we actually wanted to point
I
out?
wanna point out something. I wanna sorry.
Yeah.
And this is I love this part. I love that out of out of all the super soldiers, plus the who are the bodyguards of Black Panther.
The
the-
Dora Milaje.
So out of everyone plus them, only US agent cannot pick up the shield with his foot.
This is a sword.
He
Okay.
cannot pick up the shield with his foot for dear life. That scene where Red Guardian did it was amazing.
I have a
So-
way of explaining that away. I think in my head canon. Well, for one, we've already seen Taskmaster do it because of what Taskmaster does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right? So that's fine. Captain America, obviously, he does that because it's his
He
signature
was the
move.
one who first.
Yeah.
Exactly.
This is his signature weapon.
It's his signature weapon. Alexi, you could say the same thing. He was a super soldier from way before.
Yeah.
And if I'm not mistaken, the canon the comic version has a shield.
Shield,
Has a
He-
shield,
Yeah, he has a shield. So maybe he's been watching a lot of Captain America. He is a fan.
Yeah.
He is. Yeah.
He's a big fan. So maybe he managed to copy that one somehow. Alex Walker. Dear Alex Walker. Speaking of villains who managed to breathe, kudos to him. I started
I
off
don't- I
the
really
show
don't
not
treat him
liking
as a
him,
villain,
but
though.
eventually I'm really excited to see what happens to that character. Alex Walker only managed to become a super soldier. He no longer had a shield.
True.
Ah, you're
No longer had
right.
the
You're
shield.
right.
So sorry, caveat that a bit. He still had the shield, and then he did that really nasty thing, and then he lost the shield.
Yeah.
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 Right. So never had
You're
a
right.
chance to do the shield.
He
kick,
never had that.
the shield flip kick. What is that called?
No, you pick up the shield by kicking it,
Yeah.
by stomping on it. It will
Fancy,
flip to your
fancy pickup.
Yeah.
Shield pick
Then
up.
you catch it with
Dexterity
your
check.
hand.
Dexterity check 20.
You can only do it with a critical.
A natural 20. Yeah, so I guess that's my way of explaining it. Is there anything else that we'd like to point out?
Oh, I love Yelena nitpicking on the post. I love that. It goes on. It was like a long drawn out joke.
She is so adorable. If she does continue on, if we see her more of her, I think this movie has already established what kind of character she will be, and I think I will enjoy her so much. I will enjoy her so much. So I really hope. I mean, I don't wanna delve too much into why. We'll reserve that for the spoilery episode, for the spoiler cast. But yeah, I really enjoyed her. Joel already pointed out she's fantastic. The way that she acts as the younger sister really shows that she's the younger sister. The song, by the way, that was just so. That was such good
Yeah.
setup. That was such good setup.
The introduction song.
Yeah. No.
Well, the
There were two
song and
songs
then
there that I really liked. The first one was in early in the movie. Well, I guess both of them are early in the movie. The first one,
the one before the titles and the one during the titles.
correct? Yes.
Oh, yeah.
The first one came back eventually. This is obviously when the reunion happened. The second one didn't show up anymore again. It was a great rendition. I hope. I was hoping that it will somehow come back towards the end, but it didn't. So, but anyways, that's fine.
It was a one-off. The other one had a good rendition also, right?
I guess you could say that. I can sing it
So
that way.
so the question is, was it sung or was it spoken?
A little bit of both. I
Yeah.
guess a little bit of both. It's hard to say when with that guy who was singing it. Who was singing it. I guess that can be it. This is an extremely short episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Because it's spoiler free.
There's still a lot more to unpack from this show. I guess one last thing, quick firing off from everybody. Matching it to our hype levels from our discussion. Paul's was medium, Joel's was low, mine was high. Let's start with Joel. Was it at par? Was it different? What did you think?
Well, I've seen it once. I found myself slogging through rewatching it. So I think that
You're pretty much at par.
although it's a fun movie to watch. My hype levels haven't gone up.
Okay.
Yeah.
Paul?
Pretty much the same. I think from how I rated it, it got to that level,
It hit
and
the
that
mark.
was. I haven't had a second watch through, so I I don't think it's gonna make any difference for me, because yeah, I mean the pretty much what I expected the movie to be was what it was. So that and that's fine, and it's not anything else, but it's just really it was really the move. I think if it was shown scheduled the way it was or the time it was supposed to be shown, it might have been higher.
Okay, that's
If it
an
was
interesting point.
shown before we got all these TV shows out, I think it might have been higher. But
The
as it
original
is
schedule.
as it stands right now, it's still that.
Because this was supposed to come out May 2020, some thereabouts.
Yeah.
So, yep, okay, that's true. Well, as obviously, so I went for high hype, and I came into the show into the movie high hype as well. And the first few scenes was high hype. I was like, all right, this is it, and then tapered off, pretty much. So yes, I think Paul's and Joel's was spot on this one. I wanted it to be more, but I got what was already there all along.
Yeah.
No,
So it's a-
although I have to give it to Joel, because Joel said, I think the trailer showed everything already. I really didn't want to believe it when I watched it. I was like, oh, Joel's
much
right.
That's
pretty
right.
much it.
The whole trailer. That's the whole trailer right there. It only extended for 2 hours.
So you're saying that even the main the main plot, that main element in the plot, that was the reason for them to
Well, I got that wrong.
that was that not
Somehow,
enough
yeah.
to not really.
No, the what? Not
I'm
really.
referring to the main reason why Natasha and Yelena eventually met up, because of what was sent to Natasha.
I think it's because of the pace. If they had let that storyline, especially at the start, it was like, bam, this happens, and then bam, and then bam. I can't expound on it right now because It's
Yeah.
a spoiler-free
Yeah.
episode. But yeah, that was too fast that you weren't able to really latch on to the cause.
Yes.
I wasn't able to
Or the
really
impact
latch
of
on
it
to
as
the
well. Yeah,
cause.
the impact of it.
Yes.
There was one scene that was obviously tried to show how important it is for them to deal with this thing once and for all. But you're right. It wasn't. It was very strong. You could see it in the reaction of Black Widow, but it wasn't very strong enough. You're right. You're right. And but that aside, I'm pretty glad that it didn't affect the drive for the family theme to come out. It still did come out somehow, which is pretty good. Anything else?
No.
I think that's it.
All right,
I think that's it.
I can't wait for us to actually talk
Yeah,
about
I
this.
know. I'm more.
A lot of the-
I'm actually quite excited for the breakdown more now, just so that we can unleash all of our actual thoughts. More excited than the hype. But I'm more hyped for that episode than the movie. Unfortunately. So that is it for our initial reactions episode. Next time, we will be returning to the Black Widow discussion with a more in-depth breakdown of the movie. We hope you got a chance to catch the film. We hope you get a chance to catch the film so you can join us in our spoiler-heavy episode. There's quite a bit more than what the trailers have shown us.
That's true.
Black Widow.
What Joel got right was all the action scenes were already in the trailers.
Well, yes, exactly. Black Widow is currently in cinemas and streaming in Disney via the Premier Access. Thank you again to Paul and Joe for joining me to share their thoughts and impressions. We are holding off on the theories till the next episode. I'm not sure if we're going to be doing a recap and who's going to be doing that, but
No more recaps.
We'll figure it out.
Wait, but I did the last one, so it's Boston.
It's a movie. It's so hard to recap this movie. It's so long.
Don't worry, ladies
But
and gentlemen, we will
probably
figure it
do a
out.
recap. We'll figure
Just
it out.
pick it up
We'll
from
figure it out.
IMDb or somewhere.
Oh no, don't do that.
I said,
As always, dear audience, we hope you tune in to the next episode and continue to hang out with us. Till then, bye.
bye.
Au revoir.